DreamHack Open is brought to you by Corsair, Monster Energy, Nice Cactus, and GGBet.
Was the night before Christmas, when all through the house not a creature was stirring, not even a mouse. The stockings were hung by the chimney with care, in hopes that St. Nicholas soon would be there. The children were nestled all snug in their beds, with visions of sugar plums dancing in their heads. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. There are no sugar plums in our heads. This is Counter-Strike time, baby. It is DreamHack Open Winter 2019. We're talking 25 years of DreamHack, and it's for that reason alone that we are ready for the festivities here in Jönköping. Thank you for joining me, Connor Gervin, here on the desk. We are in the Elmia Convention Center alongside Maniac and Potter to get this Christmas Counter-Strike party started.
What happened with my life? How did I end up here? What decision led me to be on that desk with you guys, with that beautiful hat and that beautiful sweater? I don't know. I think it's a success.
Connor backed out of wearing the hat.
He did. And he didn't even tell us. He let us believe that we would do it. And then 5 seconds, hop, there you go.
Yeah.
I want you guys to shine, you know? Just give a
do we shine?
You absolutely do.
He looked me in the eyes before and he said, "You don't look good."
You glow.
All right, let's do this.
All right, before we do get too wild here on the desk, of course, we need to offer up our thanks. And those thanks go to Corsair, Monster Energy, and Nice Cactus. But there's no cactuses here in Jönköping, guys. It's kind of chilly outside. And that's okay. We're indoors now, and we're getting ready to buckle down for what will be the playoff phase of DreamHack Open.
Yes, we get to start to open some of our presents, right? We have the playoffs, that's what it is. The group stage finally came to an end.
All day long, isn't it?
Yeah, we have gifts all day long, in the evening as well. Crazy games happening, no pun intended.
Yeah.
I hope they're in the playoff. Yes, they are definitely. Started with Godsend versus Force.
Yeah, we have some highlights just to go through as well. I mean, you talked about gifts today. Well, man, we had some gifts yesterday as well. To me personally, my favorite, it was that Furia versus Force matchup. Most certainly on Nuke. I mean, just round-to-round Counter-Strike yesterday, in my mind, the level of play was so far elevated compared to the opening day. Anybody we wanted to show up has. And that's why today, I'm expecting way more.
Definitely so. And I mean, that match, as you mentioned, Connor, it was neck and neck, even with OT thrown into that matchup. And on that Nuke, we have to remember, Force had to claw their way back into it. Then Furia had to claw their way back into it. It was filled with clutches. But in the end, it was Force who was the better team, because on that third map on Mirage, it was a complete blowout.
No, yeah. Listen, yesterday's with the best of 3, that's the equivalent of when you go to the restaurant, you have a nice entree, you have a nice starter, but then finally you get to that main meal. That's when you enjoy that lasagna, whatever it is you want to have. That was lasagna. That we might go to. Yeah, we had amazing Counter-Strike. Obviously, we had some disappointed people as well. I mean, Heroic are not here in that playoff bracket. We had SJ, who on the first day impressed everyone, making it almost look easy, and then winning 4 rounds out of 2 maps yesterday in the best of 3. That doesn't bode well. So we had disappointed people. That's how it is in Counter-Strike. Some people win, some people lose.
You mentioned Heroic going home, and that could have shocked some people, seeing as where our heads were before we came into this event. So let's just go ahead and take a look at the playoff bracket and how things have all shaped up here thus far. To begin the day, we have Godsent versus Force, and a very exciting matchup. Godsent still has yet to lose a map on LAN. Now, I mean, that sounds like a wild statement until, of course, you remember this is their second with the team, but still, 2-0. We don't know how deep they are, but we do know that they had one of the most convincing opening matchups versus one of the favorites, Crazy, who turned it on its head. And then a second semifinals and later in the day.
Definitely so, and Godsent is kind of a sneaky team. We feel like this is one of their newer events or their second event, but they've in fact been a team for all of 2019, just Madden recently joining that team from Smash to this new Godsent lineup back in July. So, I mean, they've been together, the 4 of them, for quite some time now, over a year.
Impressive, impressive. Yeah, I see them as a quite a new team, but you're right. Actually, the core has been together for a while. Now, if we move to the other side of the bracket, there's a team that I'm very interested in, Strict. I don't really know where their limits are, and I think it's fascinating. It's very exciting. They had their victory at V4. No one expected that, myself included. And then I would think there has to be a fallback after that. You have to go down a little bit. Maybe your expectations will be too high. The focus will drop. But no, they don't. They've played beautiful Counter-Strike. They're here again in the playoff. And God Hunden is still writing his legend.
Yeah, that's true, right? He does it over and over. How do you feel about them, Potter? Tricked? Are you more excited for that second semifinal or our opening game of the day?
I think it certainly has to be that second semifinal. I'm so excited to see what Hunden is going to bring for Godsend. I'm sure he took that day off yesterday and used his time wisely, watched the Crazy games. And Crazy had such a back and forth series going all the way to 3 maps. And we've seen a multitude of the maps coming out of Crazy. And I know Hunden is going to calculate this veto. We know that Crazy's coming in here at a disadvantage. We spoke about their map pool being very small, being a weak point for them coming into these BO3 series. So I think Hunden is going to capitalize on that.
All right, well, we'll get there. We'll get there, right? But first, we have to start focusing in on our opening matchup, being Godsend versus Force. Mathieu, I've been told you have 3 reasons, but 3 reasons of what?
Yeah, I'm going to kill the mood a little bit here because I have 3 reasons why Godsend streak ends today.
Oh.
That's it. You heard me. It happened. That's the end. And the first reason is actually a bunch of numbers, right? 50 versus 163, and you might wonder what it is. Well, it's quite simply the amount of rounds played by these 2 teams. Godsend have only played 50 rounds so far in that event, whereas Forze have played 163. That is 2 map versus 5 maps. Now, the second reason would be the squad experience. We said it, Forze have been together, the core of Forze have been together since 2 years. That is Flit, Facecrack, and Jerry. 2017, that is insane. And finally, the last reason is the sniper battle, right? On one hand, you have Z-Power, very impressive. He impressed me. And at the bottom, for the other team, is Michael. He's been very quiet so far. He's going to need to step up, and I need to see more from him.
Sniper battle. That's the one that I kind of, I'm getting ready for. I'm salivating just thinking about it because, like you said, Mike Lilly, he needs to step up because we haven't had to see it yet. What we saw so far from Godsend was just this impeccable performance from Crystal. And like you said, Madden, the newest addition, the player that, I mean, if the story of Godsend is seasoned players, call them, coming back together in a new ragtag gang and finding another new level of success, well, Madden isn't on that kind of a list. You know, he is just under the radar in that terms, and yet he showed up for at least those 2 maps, but that's it. 2 maps. Again, all we have to play with.
Exactly so, and I'm glad you mentioned Crystal because it kind of correlates with the Michael Lilly having to step up. We saw on that first day, Crystal was busting out the op. I think he had more op kills than Michael Lilly in those first 2 matches. So, I mean, it is a bit confusing, but at the same time, they won with such ease that Michael Lilly didn't have to get so involved with that AWP. He was more so the guy, the man behind his teammates, allowing his teammates to kind of make the work happen.
Yeah, and do we take that as a positive, right? The fact that Crystal has more AWP kills than Michael, you can see it both ways.
Yeah.
On one hand, okay, cool, that means you have a potential double AWP setup that you can bring in. Also, it shows that Crystal is having a good event, way better than his numbers on internet by a large margin. But at the other hand, you think there has to be some sniper battle, there has to be some duels happening on key positions of the map, and Crystal is not going to just replace Michael, he's not going to say, listen, you know what, I'm going to go A-long, take my spot, I can do it for you. That's not how it works. Z-Power will go up against Michael. This is going to happen, and if you look at how these 2 players perform so far, it's clear. Z-Power is up there, Michael is down there.
Plus, you, yesterday, before the Force match, emphasized that we have that constant opening duel being looked for by Z-Power, that is kind of the strategy of Force, right? That he is that entry frag, that he's constantly being set up for it. Well, Mike Lilly's on the other side. Tough job at hand. But another tough job is when we, as we have mentioned, the map pool. And that's what we're going to get into now, guys. The veto process underway.
Yeah, I think starting off right off the bat, Force are just going to have to go out and veto Overpass. They did it already in their matchup at that We Play Forge. That was the first map that they actually ended up vetoing, and they lost to it versus Tricked on that first day by a pretty large margin. So I think Force aren't feeling as confident in their Overpass, and I think Godsend is going to have to veto Mirage or Vertigo. I'm thinking that Force is going to pick Nuke, and Godsend is going to pick Train.
Oh, you already have picks.
That is my.
You've been killing the vetoes, by the way. So, I mean, let's
keep that in mind.
I believe you already, but now we have got the bans.
No, I agree with the ban. I think Overpass has to go. That's the case. And Mirage from Godsend. The problem is if Godsend and Mirage go, 100% pick on the side of Forza, right? Now we got to pick. Oh, Well, which one did you say? I think Nuke could be an idea.
Yeah, I think
would be the only
Nuke
one?
and Train.
Nuke and
That's
Train.
what I'm thinking.
Okay.
Especially because Godsend actually beat Force 16-14 on Dust 2 just 2 weeks ago on LAN. That's the LAN that Godsend actually ended up winning.
Right.
But then would you try and float Dust 2 for a third map, or do you pick it? There you go.
Okay,
That was
there
my
it is.
question. I was thinking they might just pick Dust 2 and not take the risk of not having as a third map.
Yeah.
Now the problem if you're Godsend, I would be very surprised if we end up with Train as a third. I think Force would get rid of it in that rotation, and we might end on a Nuke, for example. That's a map that both teams played, and that's also one of the big difference between these two teams, right? Coming into this game, Godsend have only played 2 maps, 2 different maps. Obviously, they played 2 best of ones, but Force, they played 6 maps, 5 different maps. They're warmed up. They've gone through the motions of almost every map they have in the pool. We cannot say the same about Godsend. We don't even know the depth of their pool, and this is it. The Nuke as a third map, which, as we said, now Dust 2, Inferno, Nuke, gotta feel. I think it's a fair 50-50 veto in terms of who has the advantage knowing the maps.
It certainly is, and it begs the question which Godsend is going to show up. Was it crazy underperforming on that first day? They ended up beating them 16-7. It was one of the more dominant matches prior to those 16-16-2 matches we saw yesterday. But however, they won with ease, 16-7. So, but it has to beg the question, was it Godsend playing to the highest potential, or was it crazy playing at a lower level?
Yeah, the 16-14 Dust 2 game's interesting. Jerry said yesterday in his post-game interview that he knows what they did wrong the last time these two teams matched up. Will they change things? Who knows? But we did catch up with both teams and got their thoughts about this first semifinal.
We all feel like we can win the tournament, so our expectations is, I'm not gonna say top 1 because it's like, but top, at least top 2.
And that quick still well placed, 23 kills once again.
We were down a little bit in the second game, but we just managed to play together and just fight through it and just come back and just win the game. So that's what we're gonna bring with us.
Now, envy though, that's gonna be tough for him to win this one out, and he cannot do it! Then he misses. He has to peek out. He needs to get the timing, but he gets stuck on the ladder. That could be it. He hits the headshot. He's looking at completely the wrong angle. It's all based on the timing, and Zen's gonna win it.
Yeah, I mean, the gods are here. I don't know who else can be like above us, so we'll see.
Some a great nade. That's gonna be great. Let's see if he can hold on to it. The first kill goes his way. Second kill as well. Where the hell have the rest of my team gone? He's trying to get revenge. Oh! And now, 2 players, they're both here. Oh my God, Jerry! What is that?
Today we win a very strong team, Furia. It was hard, and now I think we are feeling much better.
Power alongside it, but he's the... I think they know now that they need to get this kill very quickly indeed. It's already done it.
Everyone clutch. We have good hope, and I think it will be enough. Of course, I know our enemy will be Godsend, so we just lost a few weeks ago them in Ukraine. Now I think we must be a little bit more ready.
Just 1 and 2, that beautiful split.
No, I don't want to wish good luck our enemies, because I just want to say have fun, nothing else.
The gods have arrived, according to Michaelelli, although his chair's still left empty, as we do have Godsend still settling in before this match gets going. I'm excited for this, because I think of the two, personally, we've seen Crazy kind of lower, we've seen Tricked with high hopes. This one, I'm not sure where to place my chips at all.
Yeah, it is kind of hard, especially because the fact that Godsend made it to the playoff only winning 2 games, it skews their stats so highly, so much. So you look at the numbers right now, 4 out of 5 players in Godsend are in the top 10. The 10 best or most performing players of the tournament. They're up there. You have Crystal, 138. What is this? Crystal is 138 up there, and he played amazingly. There's nothing I can say against that. You have Stico as well, very much up there, 133. But then you have to take a step back and think, what after 5 maps? What after 8 maps? 12 maps? We don't have that kind of depth right now. All we know is the little we have seen from them was very convincing.
Exactly, and when we spoke to them in the interview, we were asking, why were you taking so many duels, and how are you winning every single one of them, right? And that was one of the definitions of this Godsend lineup, was they were all across the map, spread out, and each individual was willing to take duels and willing to take fights and open up the rounds, and more often than not, they came out on top out of all of those duels.
I like their duels because I feel like there's a nice level of team play already established within Godsend. Do you mirror that, Matsu?
Yeah, I would agree to that, and I would even go beyond that and say something that you brought up yesterday, rightfully so, is that even if that lineup together maybe doesn't have that much LAN experience, right? The players that compose them have a ton of experience. And we said, this is a LAN environment, this is a stage environment, the pressure comes in, the emotions come in. But if you're Crystal and you have played 300 events, if you're Stico, you've played that many events as well, Mike let it, don't even need to mention that, he was up there with an IQ at some point. That comes into play here. They will not be pressured, they will not shake, they know how to face these games. And I think that's why they still overperform comparing to the others, because they might shake in their boots a little bit, but that's not the case for them.
At the same time, I have to kind of disagree with that. I think when we spoke to Michael Ellie in that interview, he mentioned that there was some nervousness. You know, he couldn't decipher exactly all the information his teammates were throwing his way. The LAN jitters, he said he felt them coming back. We have to remember, we haven't seen these players performing on a stage like this. We haven't seen this team performing or going through any sort of trials and tribulations. Going back to that first day, they've only played 2 maps. They haven't had to claw their way through a series. They haven't had to really fight their way into the semifinals. And you're right, Matthew, if they have the mental fortitude to be able to just, you know, approach the semifinals with ease, with no pressure, then sure, they're going to have a good time. But if they are having LAN jitters like Michael Ellie sort of suggested, it might become a little difficult as soon as they're tested, as soon as they start losing some of those duels.
Yeah, as soon as they're tested. But a team who has been tested over the last 6 months, seeing as we have had a chance to see them more and more frequently since their Berlin major run, is Force. And unfortunately for them, the more we get to see them, the more cracks we start to see.
Listen, there is a reality in Counter-Strike that is that great results come at a price. If you're Forza and 6 months ago, not that many people were looking at you, then you had your moment. You raised some eyebrows. People's expectations went higher for you, which means you have more pressure. Jerry said it in an interview. We came here, we have the pressure, we need to win this event, and I think they came close to a breaking point early in the tournament, but they survived it. Now, they survived it. They've played many different maps. I think they're in the zone. Yesterday, that game versus Furia, to me, was a great example, right? Such a battle. We talked about it. Nuke, overtime, first map, very close as well. But then who came ahead in the third map? Who destroyed Furia? But that was Forza, our boys. They were here. They were feeling it. They were in the flow. So the fact that they were able to go to that mode after such a hard game, to me, that's a great signal.
Exactly, and it's Jerry, man. He's got such a good head on his shoulders. You can see it in the player interviews, in his answers, in his articulate voice. I mean, this man, he's so easygoing, and I think that bodes well for the mental fortitude and endurance for the sports side of things. As you mentioned, Matthew, they did claw their way back. They dominated that third map, and after such a long series that took all the energy, all the mental strength out of Force and Furia, we saw Furia crumbling, but we saw Force coming out on top.
Right. I like the words we're using here right now, right? I like this fortitude, composure, because what we saw yesterday with Force was, again, them and Furia both pushed to the very edge on Nuke. And then after that test, that tribulation, what was Mirage? Such a stomp. Oof. Then contrast that to Godsend, right? If we get into another one of those situations where this is incredibly close and then one team or either team thinks that they're about to close this series, but heartbreaking choke, whatever it may be, how are Godsend going to reset when they haven't even experienced a map lost yet as a team on land?
Exactly, and I mean, these Force side of things, when you look at their stats, each one of these players, they are neck and neck with their frags. They're within 5 frags each. So it's a full-on team effort. You can absolutely see that in the server. You look at the Godsend side of things, and that's really not the case. It was purely Madden and Crystal fully just bringing out the frags and kind of carrying these guys over that finish line. And so it's a bit of a difference as far as their team effort, I suppose.
Yeah, I would agree. I mean, the danger can come from everyone in Force, and we have had example, we have seen it, and now we have the head-to-head. Well, we could have picked pretty much anyone from Force. That is the beauty of it, but I decided to go with Flip, and we said it yesterday. There is something about his crosshair placement and how he plays simple yet efficient Counter-Strike that I find to be extremely sexy, if you allow me that, Nano. I like the way he plays. It looks simple, it's not complicated, but he's always at the right time, at the right place. And then Stico, I mean, everyone knows I'm biased about Stico. I think he's a great player. I think he's having a second life in that team. Yes, it might be a little bit under the level or beneath the level that he was before, but it doesn't matter. Take the challenge, take these players with you, and rise up with them.
Right.
I think it's great. It's a great story.
I mean, if you're praising Flitz ability to place his aim and also the style of his play, well, I think we've got to call Stiko's play style sexy too.
Oh yeah, oh, we do.
There's no doubt in that. I mean, if I ever had to find myself needing a teammate, I think Stiko does check off a lot of those boxes.
Certainly so. I mean, there's a highlight roaming around on Twitter somewhere where he gets an ace on ramp with the USP and the precision, and as you mentioned, the crosshair. Yes, the crosshair placement from this man. The intelligence, he doesn't have to flick. He doesn't have to aim. He already knows where his enemy's going to be. He's already predicted it, and so he's already got his crosshair ready. It looks like minimal effort, but it's a lot of skill.
I like that. I like the fact that you don't have to aim, you know where your enemy is coming up. And people need to realize that that's actually a thing in Counter-Strike. Crosshair placement and deciding where to aim and how close you are to the wall, that makes a huge difference. You don't need to always be Simple or Nico with like the craziest pick. If you can do that, that's amazing. That's always a nice ace to have in your cards. But then if you know where to aim, that makes all the difference.
All right, well then, if we're talking about where to aim, Mathieu, when the predictions come around, where do you set your crosshairs?
Listen, I had made my mind this morning. I woke up, I had a flash. Something came onto me and I was drinking my tea.
Yeah.
I think Force is winning this. I think the Godsend streak ends today.
Potter?
I'm going to echo that as well. I think Force is going to win this. Although we haven't seen the full potential of Godsend, I'm wondering how far their honeymoon period is going to be able to carry them through. If each member of Godsend actually capitalize on this moment, they certainly have a chance, but I'm going with Force on this one.
All right, guys, I'm going to leave you out in the cold like a couple of elves because I have my side with Godsend. I just feel like with Crystal performing, with Madden performing, and then the other pieces, I have faith in them. We haven't seen them tested, but I think that if that test comes in the form of Force, they should be able to still pass it. So, Twitch chat, are you siding with me? No. Yes.
Oh, you're so used to be against them.
You know what it
assume.
is? I always see the orange, and my eye looks at that first. I'm like, yeah, 42%. Right. Yeah, that's majority. But we've got two more guys. We got to get into the mix, get into the conversation before our first semifinal gets started, and that is Tom Biz and Pimp.
I was forced to do this. I just want to point that out straight away. It wasn't my own choice. I had, my boss is saying we have to do this, Tom.
So you're not the king of Christmas cheer, then?
You know what? I love Christmas, and I love this.
What was your favorite?
And I think you look beautiful.
Oh, that's so nice. Are you saying that just because it's Christmas?
No, because I can't see your hair.
Oh, what hair? Well, what's your favorite thing about Christmas, Pim?
Actually, to be completely honest with you, I'm not the biggest guy on Christmas. But I like, Christmas Eve. You're together with the family. You're eating, good food, and you're opening a few presents. So
you're the only person where I go, what's your favorite thing? You go, I don't actually like Christmas. Are you the Scrooge? That's what I imagine you being. Just get out of my house. It's done.
Not that bad, but we're getting close to it. We got a good game on our hands, though. We got Godsend going up against Force, and I think the desk nailed it pretty well here. We have a team who we don't know a lot about. Godsend, we have seen them play well as of late, but how well are they going to fare when the pressure amounts on them? This is a semifinal at a relatively big event against a proven squad like Force. We'll have to see how they can handle that. They're starting out like fire. They're rushing down middle and being very aggressive. I like that, showing presence straight away. Madden takes down Jerry on Banana, and here we go. Michael Lilly in a good position. He kind of missing the opportunity, not connecting the shot, and he could go down, but he survives here. Backup comes in from Stuko, and all of a sudden we have a 4-versus-1 situation. That is, round is over. Godsend, we discussed, or we got to talk about, can they stand for the pressure? Are they good enough to do this on a relatively big stage against a good team? So far, so good. They're just coming out there, not giving them any space whatsoever.
I like that as well, because that in my eyes is like a Force sort of play. Like, get really in the faces of your opponent.
Giving them their own medicine straight away, right?
Exactly. Like, do exactly what they're probably going to do to you on the other side. And if you can shut them down early, remove some of that confidence, I think that's actually where Force really does struggle a little bit, is when it falls back into the strategy camp and when the individual battles aren't working. And that's actually what we saw Godsend do very well versus Crazy. And I feel like, okay, Force are probably a more developed team. They've been together longer, but hey, this is nice. Just aggressive plays, pushing down, not lost barely any players so far in this match.
Yeah, and you love to see that, right? Especially Madden, or whatever we're going to call this kid, because this is a guy for the future. Let's be honest. Yesterday, or the day before that, when they qualified for this semifinal, we were talking about him, being a little bit too aggressive. Maybe he was a little bit too eagerly to get out there and get the job done. But if he gets confidence and if he's successful with what he's doing right now, that's going to be a guy that they're going to have a lot of problems shutting down. So good start for him, good start for Godsend. Force have only had a single kill so far in this game. The question is if this round will be any different.
I feel like this has to be the change, but already
They're going aggressive again, just trying to get in the faces with those SMGs. First kill goes the way of Crystal. As mentioned, he's been one of the stars of this tournament so far. And as said, coming into Sweden, I don't think that was something I was expecting to say. I've been pleasantly surprised. Still the fight.
Yeah.
Madden though, and he's going to get taken down, and that leaves just one defender of this B site. Zen is there alone. He does have the rifle available to him and a little bit of utility to at least buy some time. Ooh, okay, Jerry's just going to find him straight through the smoke though, and that's the B site completely under the T's control. I'm not even sure if this is worth fighting, even though the weaponry's not great and they've got some money to spare. Is it worth it?
I think it is, especially if Michael Lille can get an opening right here, which he will with the SMG. At least some more money in the bank for next round, where they'll have plenty of founds to buy up again. Winning this round, probably not going to happen, right? Michael Lille in a tough position, his teammate down Banana. All that he's going to try to do is take another weapon off the hands of Force. Stugu here with the Femaster. He's not going to win this one, but I think we just saw what could become a problem for Guardian right here. The over-aggression on Banana, you know. I like the initial first pick, and they got the opening duel. Instead of keep, pushing the issue, why don't you fall back? You're in a 4 versus 5, you have still plenty of utility. You had 2 smokes towards Banana that wasn't used, yet you still went for those duels and you lost them, right? There was no real reason to do that. You could just have fallen back, played it a bit smarter. So it's always a balance between being aggressive, being confident, and sometimes knowing when to back off. And in this scenario, unfortunately for Guardian, maybe a little bit too much aggression was being put down here to Banana. Obviously a little bit unlucky with the shot through the smoke as well, but Maiden here, he was being caught off guard for sure.
Yeah, and Flit, someone, again, who I think we've highlighted all the way through as we've been casting him, and he has played fantastically well, alongside XC Power, of course, but that's kind of expected. We'll see if he is going to be performing here today. As you mentioned, CT side actually come in with a very good buy, considering they lost the first buy round. Like, a surprisingly good one, I would say, but the aggression onto Banana again, especially when you're the solo man, is going to cause a rotation to have to come in, and the T's are actually just going to try and play off of this, moving towards that A site, looking to challenge onto Arch, and it's only going to be Makalele really able to stop them.
He won't be able to. Almost there with a nice pick with the SG now. See if he can do something about it. Gets 1 kill, gets the second one, almost the third one in XC Power. Puts him down to 57 HP. It's now 2 versus 2. Crystal stuck in CT spawn. Has team Stickle coming from behind, losing that duel to Flit, and now Crystal is in a rough position. He knows he has to do something, and Flit is in a prime position to take him down, and he will. Force makes it 2-2 right here. I think there's a few things to notice in this round that we have to talk about. One thing is Michael Lille playing Arch side with an M4. Maiden brought up the AWP. He was the one playing with it, not the primary over Michael Lille for whatever reason. We'll have to see if that's going to be a tendency that's going to carry out through the game. Also, Maiden, once again, on Banana, he dry peek out Banana. No flash, no smoke, no nade, no nothing. Again, I like this guy a lot. I like his aggressiveness, I like his confidence, but sometimes it looks just a little bit too silly. It's like unpolished in a way where you think if he just would manage himself just a little bit better, conduct himself a little bit more calm on the server, I think there's a lot more potential in this guy than we're actually seeing right now.
Well, I also wonder if there's something about, like, why there wasn't support there, because that does seem like a ludicrous peak to take. Like, it's the surprise factor at the same time for your opposition, because they're not going to expect someone to do that, but you are going to be watching top Banana at the beginning of the round, so it's a risky peak, and especially when at that time he was the only defender, wasn't ever going to work. Stack on this site at least, so a good chance to do at least a little bit of damage, but well, 1 man left. Sicko with just a P250, hoping that someone walks into his crosshair, but when it's a MAC-10, I was going to say he should lose the battle, but hey, that's a bit of extra cash, and if he can get a kill with this SMG, it'll be $600 into the bank, but that's not going to happen. They'll corner him in, and a few decent rounds coming off the back from Fours now, 3 in a row, money starting to build, and the CT side are going to have to come in with a fairly bare bones buy on their side.
And let's see if Guardian can change it up now. We see them be very aggressive pretty much every single round up until this point. This time around, play a default. You have a decent amount of utility. You have a good weaponry on your hands. You have 4 M4s and a FMS. There's no need to be aggressive now. See if you can force to play that game, where they have to wait it out and they have to do a late execute or anything like that, instead of always trying to force the issue. I think that's exactly what Guardian is doing right here. I like that a lot. Maybe they want to take Banana control. A good nade being thrown down. Hit Flits in his face. Now Sen and Maiden are pushing out right now. Sid walks up all by himself. No flash, no nothing. Again, it's a little bit of a uncharacteristic peak coming out there. XC Power with AWP. He's aware there could be a guy in the corner. Now Maiden, once again, he's isolated on Banana. It's going to be him against the world. And at this point, he has to take at least 1 down. Otherwise, that's going to be a bad trade for them. He's alone, he has no backup, and there we go, he goes down once again. I'm not sure what he's doing here. I think he's a little bit rattled by the fact that he's playing in a semi-final right now.
Zen just waiting on the corner. He knows that there's players still about to come around the corner. Goes for the timing peak, but XP that a little bit too quick. And with a minute left, we see the T sat with a man advantage. The utility for the CT side is almost completely gone. A single flash and an HE, and they're going to actually bolster their defense towards the B side. Looks like the right call from the direction of this T side, but they could still go back in the other direction. They've in fact left a man lurking just to try and cut off rotations, and they are. They're throwing in the fake. They're holding these two CT players. And Pimp, it's all up to Makalele. He's been quiet throughout this tournament so far. We have not seen the Makalele we'd like to see, and up from above. He does manage one, needs more though. And Fours, that should be the round confirmed. I don't think the CT side can get here quick enough.
Not at all. A valid effort from Makalele in a decent position actually, but he second-guessed himself a little bit. I mean, he knew a guy was coming out from apartments, but at that point, you got to imagine that at least two guys is coming around quad side. He wasn't able to do anything about it. Went down, and now we look at a situation where Force is going up 4-2. Again, I feel like Godsend right now are doing it to themselves. We haven't seen Force do anything out of the ordinary on the T side. They're literally just spreading out, and they're getting picks all over the map. Like, it's them being gifted Godsend players, almost. And it's, to me, it's a little bit worrying. You know, I like the start from Godsend. I like when teams come out, they be aggressive, but if you don't manage to sort of manage that aggression, you know, if you don't manage to change it up and balance it out with some more, you know, defensive play as well, then it gets too easy for the opposition to know that, all right, we just got to be ready because somebody's going to peek out at some point and we are going to kill him if that's the case. So, Godsend, great start, and I like the game plan, maybe coming out of Devil Walk, you know, saying to his teammates, all right, guys, go out there, play with aggression, you know, make them aware that you're on the server, but you got to have something to fall back on. And so far, it hasn't really been the case for the Swedish squad.
Yeah, I think the thing that also makes it a bit more troublesome is like a T-side AWP can be fairly difficult on this map because most of the time you're almost countering. So I feel like they're kind of playing into Force's hands where XP goes, wait, so if I hold this angle, probably someone's going to peek in the next couple of rounds. So he's going to hit that shot every time. Like, he is a fantastic AWPer. There's something that we've seen all the way through this tournament in clutch situations, and peaks like that, like Zen's peak, for example, in the last round. I knew he was going to hit that shot 10 times out of 10. Like that's a very easy kill for him to get. Easily, yeah.
Once again, we see XP searching with the AWP, not connecting the shot, but at least getting the information that a guy is playing towards coils, smoking off CT spawn, dragging out the utility from Godsend. This is exactly what Force wants to do. No risk taking, making sure to drag out as much utility as possible. Don't get surprised. And here we go. XP actually takes a lot of damage. Flit was hit by a nade in his face earlier this round as well. So we look at two players right now who combined for 49 HP. That could be a problem for Force if they were to walk into the stack on the A-bomb side now. Face crack, making sure nobody's pushing up in the apartments. He's here by himself. There's no trade frag potential either. It's a little bit of a dangerous situation to be in right now if you're Force. You're being left out in the dark. You don't have a lot of information. And there's only 35 seconds left. Combine that with two players with half HP. And you got a dangerous cocktail going, Tom.
Yeah, they have to go get the bomb as well. So Jerry's only just making the decision to retrieve that. And it does look like they're going to end up heading into the B side with only about 15 seconds left on the clock. Luckily, the stack has moved.
It's coming now, yeah. There are going to be three players ready for it. Obviously, CT spawn should be smoked off here, but we got Elmas there wanting in now as the first guy. He needs to open up this round. He needs to make sure that he doesn't go down. He does, though, to Maiden. Extra power falls out. Maiden with a second kill. That's fine. Now we got...
Oh, he got the bomb! Oh, he got it through the smoke. That's it done!
That is it. The stack works out for Godsend, and Force are playing themselves here. There's no reason to take it that chill. There's no reason to be that slow on getting the bomb into position and basically not gaining any information, getting any ground on the map whatsoever for an entire minute. Well played by Godsend. Well played by Maiden. Again, you know, him being... This time around, he wasn't aggressive. He was just waiting for them, and he got 2 kills. Beautiful. He can do both. Keep doing that.
Also, Sticko just finding a spray straight through the smoke onto the bomb.
Well, there was a third guy on the side, and probably would have denied the bomb plan anyway, so it was just a very lackluster effort from Force coming into that one, and you can't allow that, you know. You can't allow inviting Godsend back into the game like that. Now the money is going to look good for Godsend, especially in this round. All the utility in the world. Got an AWP and Michael Lilla, as we talked about. That's what you want to see. You want to see him have some confidence with that one as well. Whereas for Force, obviously another buy round. XP Power searching up middle. We can have the duel here between Michael Lilla and XP Power. See who comes out on top. He gets smokes off. We'll have to reach it.
And it does seem like, at least in their B defense now, Godsend have fallen into just like, okay, let's just stay passive. Like, that worked so well in the last round. Let's make them execute onto us. Let's use the utility that we now have to delay them as much as possible. And what it means is they currently have a 4-man stack. The only thing that worries me a little bit is Crystal won't have much information until they're right up in his face, because he is so passive. Normally you see the attempt to take at least top banana control so that you can at least peek a little bit. But to be fair, in the last round, Fours probed way too late. That is a nice shot, though. Makalele's just been owned.
That is so dirty. That is so dirty. Good thing Maiden is there to follow up now. They know he's not going to be at that A bomb side. That's why he rotates straight away, and that's exactly why you see Force react so fast. They're going to go into Crystal. He's going to be here by himself. The backup is not going to be there in time. He's going to be smoked off from CT spawn, and there we go. As you said, bomb side has been lost. There's nothing he can do about it. Maybe he can get lucky with a cheeky kill through the smoke. Deny the bomb plan here. He actually headshots him first, but gets taken down by Exipower. Sticker, though, follows up with a grenade. A 3 versus 3 retake.
Oh, they needed a kill from Maiden there. I wonder if there's much to do. Sticker, though, does find an angle, at least onto Exipower, but I think Zen may have to take the realization that this is very unlikely. As a single smoke, he's going to use that to section off Banana. There's nobody around that angle. They're almost playing in a bit of a crossfire, and Fours will hold on to this round. And yeah, it actually did come through in the end, didn't it? It was sort of like he was so far back that by the time he knew they were coming his way, there was already a smoke sectioning him off, and his teammate was just getting towards the site.
Exactly. I love that, though. I love that play from Force. As soon as they realized it was Maiden who killed the teammate in Artside, they just went straight into that A-bomb side. They knew exactly that there was only going to be Crystal. They smoked off CT spawn, they smoked off coils, made sure he couldn't do anything, and there was some very decisive play from Force right there. Got to look out for that, and you got to give them a compliment for that as well. It's good to see that they read the game perfectly fine here. Now, once again, aggression towards Banana. It's Maiden all by himself. No trade back potentially. Gets the first one. He'll need a second one for this to be worth it, and he gets it. Whoa. Beautiful by Maiden. And here we go. Now a fine opening once again for Godsend. 4 versus 2. This guy, I don't know what to think about him. I think he's way too aggressive. I think he's a loose cannon in many different ways, but he gets the job done. And I guess that's the most important thing.
Well, now this comes down to what the T's can actually do in this round. Makalele so deep into the spawn. He had a chance to take down Exipower, but at least he's managed to do a lot of damage. He set the rest of his teammates up. Sticko's got to be careful, though. It's going to be who spots who first, and that's a free kill back into a 2 versus 2. And more importantly, the A site is open. The worry, though, is that they actually managed to catch the bomb. Exipower with the first kill for free, but Zen's now retrieved the rifle. There's still plenty of time for them to play with and flip with a perfect headshot to end the round. But yeah, if you notice, they're actually trying to set him up for those sort of plays, because that was Zen saving the rifle in the round before, handing it over to him and him buying Kevlar to make the aggressive push.
Sure was. A lot of missed opportunities from Godsend here. Makalele, he should have had that kill with the P250. That would have been round over. Simple as it was. Wasn't able to connect the bullets. Went down, Exipower got a different kill. And it seemed like Godsend, you know, from such a advantageous position, they kind of threw it away by not playing together.
Well, he had the bomb as well. Like, Exipower had the bomb, so that would have been the bomb dropped in.
It would have been in. There would have been no way Flip could have won that. So, again, you know, another missed opportunity by Godsend. And as the desk talked about, you know, a team that hasn't had a lot of experience on lane. We haven't seen it that much now. Some more aggression being put down towards Banana. More good nades thrown down, and here we go. Crystal gets the first one, gets instant trade back by Jerry, who gets 2 kills. I think he's aware there's a third guy here as well. Maybe not. Oh, no, and there we go. This is it. Zen gets 2 kills. Beautiful play by him. You hear the crowd out there. They love that as well. Put them up in a 3 versus 2 situation. Exipower on face crack. We'll have to see if they can bring this one back for Force. Slowly but surely walking up middle here. 2 guys are awaiting them, though.
Yeah, deep within the site. This is a position you'd expect, but one that can be difficult to clear, although stick around the arch side is going to be a little bit far away. If they can get this opening kill without a trade coming in, there's definitely a possibility. And Makalele, as we've already seen, there's been a few moments where he's had a chance. He at least needs to get 1 kill, and the timing just gets away from them. They haven't actually checked this corner yet. They're just going to walk straight into the site, and Makalele with the easiest kill hits the second as well. He finally steps up to the mark, and that'll be a 4th on the board for Godsend.
That's good. Good to see Makalele get it done. He had a rough round before. He potentially lost him the entire round with the P250 play without being too disrespectful, but this time around, he saved their asses. This kill right here, jumping up in the box and just instantly taking down face crack in a spray. That was beautiful done by Makalele, and this is important. People may not know that, but Makalele is a confidence player with a big C. When he's feeling it, he can be I wouldn't necessarily say one of the best players in the world, but he can be up there. He can be a terror to play against, but when he's not feeling it, when he's not having confidence, he sometimes looks a little bit silly. So it's very important that he feels the game, that he gets inside the game, and he gets a few success. What's going his way now? More aggression being put towards Banana. A lot of control for Gatsen right here. I like that. In a round where Force have invested a decent amount of money into it. They're getting ready to explode out of apartments. Another good nade. I think the nade damage from Gatsen in this game so far has been absolutely stellar. I think every single round up until this point, I've seen at least one player from Force being brought down to 20 HP by a grenade. So that aspect of the game, they surely control. Let's call them mini Astralis.
I'm guessing that's mini with a big M.
Yeah. And well, I, and N, and
okay.
E, yeah.
Well, Makalele, he is in position with the AWP, of course, an aggressive spot. He is the only defender of this site, so if he falls, it will mean that the site is completely under Force's control. Rotations are beginning to come in from Crystal and Maiden as well. With the smoke down, he needs to get a shot, and he does at least connect onto one. They've still got a couple of AKs into this round. This is a heavy investment. The spray from Maiden eventually gets the bomb planter, but they have at least got the plants. There's some extra money for the T's. I don't see them holding on to this round unless there's some big mistakes. But with a couple of low players, there's still possibilities here. XE Power and Jerry still with rifles in hand. They'll have a buy into the next round anyway, but XE Power gets taken out by Makalele. It's down to just Jerry trying to hold on, and he will not be able to. A perfect retake coming out from Godsend. Not a single player lost. Building that bank, keeping their weaponry, but at least Force have earned some money themselves.
Got a little bit scary with Michael Lillin in that position. He was almost being caught off guard, but played it well, fell back, got a kill, and then waited for his teammates. So some smart play being brought up by the Swede. I like that. Again, you know, a success round for him, getting a triple kill. And you want to see that. That's 5 kills in 2 rounds for Michael Lillin. And if he gets restarted, we saw how well Gatsen played the first day without him performing well. If Michael Lillin is performing well, combined with the other players in this team, then we have a team that potentially could go all the way and win the championship. Once again, some aggressiveness being put out towards Banana this time around. XE Power was not able to punish it. Michael Lillin looking down towards second middle here. I don't know why he's spotting in defeat, but maybe he just wants to look good while flicking it up in his head when he sees him.
It's interesting as well. The Fours early into the game when they were winning their rounds took Banana control pretty much straight away.
Yeah.
But they've started taking so much damage from grenades that they now can't do it. And they haven't actually been getting back in anymore. It's either been like this, where it's a 4-1, and eventually the player who's aggressive gives it up, or they lose the round. And that's been the only options that have happened so far. We need to see a change coming out from Fours. Like, they have a decent amount of rounds on the T side already, but they still want more after the start they had.
Yeah, they will. There we go. Michael Lillin with a nice wallbang and hit Sen in middle as well, just closing it down by himself with an SG. That's a triple kill. That player, and there we go. Another convincing round going the way of Gatsen. Right now, it looks like Force, they are, as you said, they're playing a little bit too scared.
Yeah.
Even though they're receiving a lot of damage from the grenades, even though they may not feel, you know, comfortable going up Banana, it was what made them win in the beginning. They did take the duel. They did win them out. You know, even a trade frag potential where you get up in a 3 versus 3 scenario is going to favor the side of the CIS squad. So maybe that's something they'll have to talk about in this timeout. You know, we need to be a little bit more aggressive. We need to contest Maiden once again. He has been over-aggressive on Banana, I would say. And if you can punish that, well, you can kill 2 guys on Banana, and that'll be round over, basically. You know?
I'd like to see a nade stack of their own. Like, there's been someone top Banana almost every single round. Just use that small amount of utility. It's not a big investment coming in.
Sure.
And just try and get one of those players either low or dead, because that's the thing. We've seen now, Crystal was bottom Banana in the last round. We've seen them try and push it with SMGs, and the only difference is now the Godsend have the utility to actually just take it without having to just run down Banana straight away. So something needs to change. I think this looks like it might build into some sort of apt burst, just because they don't really have the weaponry to do anything else.
Yeah, it's a classic play when you have CCs. See Jerry's lined up with the nades. He's going to smoke something off, and then he's going to flash his teammates out of the apartments. Stuku is going to be man of the hour here. Needs to at least get 2 kills in order to make sure they stay in control. Getting caught off guard. There we go. Stuku goes down. Michael Lillin hits the shot, no. But the bomb side has been gifted up, and Michael Lillin goes for the repeat. I'm not sure that's a good idea. XE Power missing his opportunity right here. We got a 3 versus 3 scenario. Bomb going down. XE Power somehow staying alive. And Split coming out with a CC. I don't know what's going on in this round, but what I do know is that it's up to Maiden now to save this one. 2 versus 1 scenario, Tom. M4 in the hand. Not gonna be able to do it.
It does seem like one of those plays that just works way too often.
Yeah, but you know what? That's silly. That's silly. Godsend, they should be able to read the money. They should be able to know what's going on. And in a scenario like that, that's the play. It's either going to be that or they're going to rush up banana with grenades. There's no way around it. If you just play a default round with CCs and you're just waiting for the mistakes to happen, well, nothing is going to happen. So Stuku may be a little bit unaware of what's going on. Maybe it's a sign of stress. Maybe it's a sign of miscommunication. Hard to tell when you're not inside the team comm, but fact of the matter is, it's not good enough. What is good enough, though, is Michael Lille. He's really finding his footing in this game. Once again, getting the opening kill. Taking down Jerry to 14 HP as well. Beautiful stuff by the Swede. Good to see him play well.
Yeah, this is easily the best performance we've seen from him so far in the tournament. And to be fair, like a lot of the time, his teammates were just running away with it. Like Crystal has been playing phenomenally, but the fact that we saw him miss quite a few AWP shots, and even at one point, Crystal started AWPing, which is not something I expected to see. Does get forced off the angle there, and actually gets removed. So taken down just moments after praise. We should start going back to being a bit more critical, but even still, Jerry low on HP. This is not necessarily a strong position for Force at the moment. And, well, maybe a little bit different now. XC Power has found another kill. They're also holding off the rotation. Now, Jerry's very low, but even a kill here, and he almost manages a double as they push down. Steeko left to try and defend this, and he's so low on HP. Does manage just a single frag. And now Crystal, 1 versus 2. Money not really there for his team, but I think he's going to at least have a look in here.
Surely he will. XC Power, though, he's in a good position to deal with Crystal. Whenever he peeks out, whenever he reveals himself, XC Power is going to peek out, and that's going to be it. Another round for the side of Force. I don't know what to think about this first half from Godsend. I think they have a lot of stuff working for them. They have individuals showing up on the server. You know, great frag potential is what I'm trying to say. And then somehow they managed to mess it up a little bit too much. A few silly mistakes. Once again, Michael Lille, yeah, no need to go out there and die. We've seen them being a little bit too aggressive as well. It's like they need to fine-tune their game plan, and that's when I start to believe the Godsend could have won a half like this 11-4, maybe in 12-3. But the small mistakes are hunting them right now, and Force are definitely capitalizing on it. Another nade, though, in the face of Jerry. Being put down to 73 HP. I think there's been a lot of grenade damage coming out of Godsend. That's something they can be proud of. And
Zen alone is on almost 300.
There you go. That's insane in one half. That's absolutely insane. Now Maiden Michael Lille, sorry, being aggressive towards apartment. It looks like they want to head up. The A-bomb side. Again, very aggressive and forward duel to take with an SMG. I like the fact that he dares to do it and it works out, but my God, he keeps pushing as well. It's just endless aggression coming out from this Swedish squad.
Is this the old UMP? I thought the whole point was that they nerfed the range. Like,
yeah.
Still managing to win that duel. XC Power as well misses the shot, so that is going to be Zen now upgrading to an AK, finding 2 kills, and this aggression has been nothing but successful. Maze is not going to be able to stop him falling back to the site, and I think that's the difference between some of the other players. Like, he just falls back now. He knows they have a huge advantage based on what he's achieved, and this crossfire, even with just pistols previously, was so successful. Made him from above. It's going to go down, but he still hits the dink. Shotgun peeking out, does a lot of damage, but nobody's died just yet. It's all onto Steeko, and he only gets 1. I'm surprised, and actually everybody in the server at the moment is very low on HP. There's possibilities, but Crystal through leaves it into a 2 versus 1. Almeza, he needs some instant frags here, and the more pressing matter is the fact that there's only 10 seconds. That nade is perfect from Zen, continuing the amount of damage he's done, and we'll see if that is something that follows up in the second half when Godsend go onto the T side.
There's no other day like Christmas for every little girl and boy. All the toys in the store, decorations galore, and stockings hung by the fire. There's no other day like Christmas. It's the day we dream about all year. lights hung down the street, as far as the eye can see, are even better than the year before. There's an ornament that looks just like a snowman, and a train that slowly circles round the tree. There's a list being sent by mail to Santa of the things they want him most of all to bring. There's no other day like Christmas for hoping that we wake to snow. No joy can soon replace a warm, thankful embrace, fulfilling every Christmas wish. No, there's no other day like this.
And we are back going into the second half. At 8-7 scoreline. It's as close as it can be this Christmas. A bit like me and Pimp, of course. And
It's a lie.
Well, you keep trying to hold my hands.
Not true. Not true at all. What is true, though, is that we have a game on our hands. 7-8, as you said. Very close. Very, I'd say weird game. Weird first half. Back and forth. You know, a lot of mistakes being made by both teams. Maybe they're feeling pressured. Maybe they're just not getting warmed up yet. We'll have to see. Fact of the matter is that now there's no room for mistakes, and my God, does he hit some sick fakes. Split once again, going for the kill here on Sten. Keeps fighting, now falls back. Probably the smart move here. Maiden, and in the middle of the time, made it all the way into this A-bomb side. It's only going to be one defender while Split is being pressured down as well, and that's it. Jerry goes down, and now Godson have full control over this A-bomb side. I'm not sure what the hell is going on in this game, but I feel that's a lot of these rounds are being decided by, you know, weird decision making. Oh my God.
Get out. Zen's just been owned. And, well, the CT side, they actually don't have a kit here. So they really do just have to go running into the site. I don't think Jerry had any idea that they'd got that far in by the time he noticed. A little bit of utility being expended to try and spot out some of these players. Makalele gets one a second as well. And it's left just on Talmazer and Exipower. I don't even know if they have time at this point to kill all of these players. And Makalele, a big triple. We've started to see him really step up in this series.
What's going on, though? Jerry is left alone on that A-bomb side, or the small bomb side, all by himself. Maiden just walks in, you know, by himself. He has two mates, but they're coming in, you know, 2-3 seconds later than him. It seems like a very weird approach to this game right now for both teams. It feels like both of them are not really sticking to whatever game plan they had. And I think we have a little bit of a technical issue here. At least the round is not live. We'll have to see and wait what that is. But the game right now, it's moving back and forth. It's like waves coming in, waves coming out. And by the looks of it, the Swedes get away with a lot of mistakes right now. Still, you know, 8 rounds looking to take the lead once again. But I feel like they made too many mistakes to be in a position where they should win the game.
It's a weird one as well, though, that I normally, again, we've sort of mentioned it earlier, that if you're the solo person on a B site, you're spotting.
Yeah.
Like, there's no way that Maiden should have been able to get all the way into, like, towards the grill before Jerry noticed. Because if you also looked at the map at that moment, no one on the CT side had even started a rotation. Like, all the other 4 players were firmly in the A site. And then when he died, they went, oh, they're B.
Yeah.
As if, so that, for me, means he genuinely had absolutely no idea that there was anyone there, which I don't know how that happens, unless he was like caught moving between the boxes or something, but that seems like a very unlikely prospect.
Yeah, it could be coincidence, right? It could be a little bit of an unlock going in, and now Exipower goes down. He used to be one of the best players, or he is one of the best players with a scout in his hand. This time around, though, Mikey Lily gets him down. He's had a decent amount of opening kills in this game so far, playing well so far. Face crack with a Mac 10 here. And Boiler gonna take down Sen and gonna take down the bomb as well. That's gonna force the Godsend players into this Mac 7. Question is that it? Can he get away with more kills? Probably not. Jerry comes in from behind, helps him out, and there we go. It all falls apart for the CIS squad. Almacer left alone with a CC. Not much he can do here despite Stuko being down to 1 HP. He's fully aware that the best he can hope for is maybe steal away a gun, steal away an AK-47. Put some pressure on the economy of the CIS or the Swedish squad. But apart from that, not much you can do. Again, a messy round. I feel like this game is just 2 teams who are having no problems whatsoever playing heads-up Counter-Strike. And It may not be the most beautiful type of Counter-Strike, depending on what you're a fan of. You know, I guess there's different taste in that, but it sure as hell is fun to watch because a lot of action is going on all the time.
Yeah, it seems very scrappy. Like I don't feel like there's been a round where I've watched it, even this one included, where I go, that was a clear-cut victory. Like there could be moments like where the pistols are spammed and that shotgun dropping the bomb, like easily could have gone the other way. It was just that it happened that Godsend hit their shots in that round. And again, it makes me sort of uncomfortable if you're looking at, okay, where's this game going to go? Because it just depends who shows up.
Just depends who shows up, depends on who. Maybe it depends on which of these two teams will be the first to actually get it together and you know, make a game plan and stick to it. As you said, it is scrappy right now. Once again, you see Force there investing into this round. Not a lot of money though. XP with a scout, CC and some armor, and a little bit of utility on Elmas there as well. So they're making sure they can buy fully up to next round. XP made sure he can afford an AWP next round as well. I like that a lot. We need to see him with the big green. He's essentially the biggest asset now. We'll see Godsend move into this A-bomb side. It's going to be easy for Maiden. Did he see him? Not sure they spotted him. Maybe this is the opening for Elmas here. Nope, never mind. Stuko second guess Maiden's decision to run away, you know, and that's maybe part of it as well. When you have a player like Maiden, it's maybe a situation where you don't always trust his gut, you know? Maybe you think sometimes, yeah, just going to double check to make sure that you didn't miss anything, and thank God for that.
Maybe it is Madden because he is a bit crazy.
Madden, Maiden, you know what?
Like, just the way that he plays is just like
plays like a madman,
run and gun. But that's the thing. Like there have been teams in the past, even top teams, where you have that one loose cannon player,
sure,
and then everybody else has the structure. And I feel like in the past, like Makalele could be put in that bracket, like with the crazy flicks and aggressive peak.
Sure.
Nowadays, he seems to have calmed down quite a bit.
I think there's one player who comes into my mind when you're right. JW could be one of them, but Apex in the way that he's playing right now. And Apex is a guy that recently has struggled to find impact on the highest level. It works on this level. It works if you're good enough. It works if you have individual skill, like Maiden obviously has. A great player, maybe the most skilled player on the server, who knows? But when you're playing against some of the better teams who have that structure, it requires more than that. You know, you just can't run around with a gun and do that kind of stuff. So for the people out there who maybe get inspired by Maiden, you know, it's totally fine to have that play style, but you gotta be able to balance it out sometimes. Otherwise, you risk ending up like Apex. Without being disrespectful, I think Apex is a player who has a lot more skill than he's showing right now because of the role.
Oh, face crack, that is clean. 2 quick kills to start off the round. Makalele is going to be there to trade things back. But even still, 4 versus 2. Make that just 1 as Crystal has to try and clutch this out. He's only going to manage a single frag as XE Power gets the 9th on the board for Fours. And when they finally get the weapons, when they get their buy-in, that was a really nice couple of kills.
That round lasted 34 seconds. That was it. 34 seconds and it's over. It's some very fast-paced Counter-Strike we see right now. It is some very scrappy Counter-Strike we see right now. Good job by Force, though, to hold this one down. Had full control over the mid area. Great crossfire setup. Hitting some shots. Let's see how the Swedes will respond back. Still good economy on the Swedish side. All the utility they want. And XE Power is eating half an 8 here. He's going to eat a flash as well. Going to be forced away. And now his teammate is left all by himself out here at the sandbox. They're not going to check it, though. For whatever reason, Maiden again. I think he's made plenty of mistakes in this game. Still, he's been the most impactful player. So there's so much potential in this guy.
It's not his job to check.
Yeah, you know, it's
someone else's job.
It's an unpolished diamond. I think is maybe a good way to describe.
Diamond in the rough.
Diamond in the rough. Now 4 versus 4. Sin already got control over library inside CT spawn. Could be him they're waiting for. See if he can find off a pick here. XE Power potentially gonna walk into that. And there we go. No. Not going to show himself just yet. I think Sen has a decent idea that could be a player around him. Now he spots him, and that's going to be a kill for Sen here. There we go. That's going to be the opening that Godsend wants. Probably going to do an A split now, a small side split. There we go.
Yeah, they actually start their rotation back to B the second he takes that control. Flair, how does he get both of those kills? Turns back, finishes off one. Jerry now looking to hold this site all on his own. And it's left once again onto Makalele. 21 kills to his name. He needs this kill quickly onto Jerry, and he hits it through the coffins. It's left into the 1 versus 1. Flip with only 13 HP, making his way through the church. Hasn't been spotted by Makalele. A second smoke going to be thrown down just to allow him to get that bomb plant. Flip, is he going to push this? because Makalele actually won't be able to spot it. His own smoke has actually given some space for Flit to get around the site, get that a little bit closer where the AWP is not going to be anywhere near as effective. Makalele at least does have the bomb on his side. I think this is almost no-scope territory, just trying to find his opposition. The nade is perfect. Makalele misses the shot, and he's not going to get the second either. Flit is there to clutch things out, and the scoreline equalized.
Unlucky by Makalele. Nice first shot to take down Jerry to put it in a 1 versus 1, but weren't able to capitalize on that. Missed an unfortunate shot, a hard shot, so you can't really blame him for it, but Flit just cornering him in here, making sure that he has nowhere to go after missing that first bullet. So 10-10, even game. And once again, we have two teams who's going to buy up fully. Sen on a Mac 10. Still going to get a little, but apart from that, it's a decent amount of utility. Crystal with a CC. It's not the best buy for the Swedes coming in here. And this will be it. This could be the breaking point of the game where Force take charge. They take the lead, and they take control over the economy as well.
Once again, I'm going to see a little bit of nade damage, this time coming from the other side.
He is so aggressive. He's constantly looking for that duel. He's constantly, you know, it's just, you can just feel that he wants to fight at all times. I absolutely love to see that. It's
I feel like it's a love-hate relationship. I feel like you love it, but also there's something about it where you're like,
Yeah. Yeah, that's what I said. I mean, I think he's the player so far in the server who's made the most mistake, but also one of the most impactful players. So let's say you could eliminate some of those mistakes. You could coach him if you're devil walking. You could probably, you know, make a superstar out of him. So a lot of potential, just not there yet. We'll have to see. It's going to be a mid-take here. XP Power in a good position. Question is he going to stay here? He has nowhere to go, and there we go. Hits the shot blind. A little bit lucky with that, but again, it's